Phila, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sister.
Hi,
How are
hi,
you?
guys. Welcome to another episode of Motivational Monday, where each one teach one. I just wanted to play that little pan music. Just bigging up my good friend Robert Greenwich, who is in LA. So I just wanted to open up with that this afternoon. With that said, Heavenly Father, I want to thank you, dear Lord Jesus, for bringing us together, dear Lord. Father God, touch us from the top of our heads to the sole of our feet. Continue to guide our paths, dear Lord Jesus. Cleanse us, renew our mind, our spirit, our soul. Bless our families. We pray for the sick, the hungry, the homeless, those that are in mental institution, the prison, the hospital, dear Lord. Father God, guide us and protect us in no other name, but in Jesus' name I pray. Amen and amen.
Amen.
Welcome, Philly. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. Happy Monday. How are you?
Happy Monday. Everything is just a-okay.
All right. I see your
So,
breast cancer sign behind you. So, what's going
yes.
on with that?
This is we're gonna have a cancer walk on Saturday morning,
Mhm.
and this is one of the t-shirts. It's pretty in pink, and due to all our overwhelming responses, all our t-shirts have already gone. So we still want people to come out there and participate in our walk on Saturday morning. So wear anything pink with a contribution of $10. Because we don't have any more t-shirt. It was $20 with breakfast. With that, we will have a light breakfast, light refreshment. We will have water, we have Gatorade, we will have coffee, we have tea, we have orange juice, and we have some nice little snacks. We will also have a little DJ, and we are going to chip in the park and walk in representation to our men and women who are suffering and who passed on, tributing breast cancer, any kind of cancer, just the awareness that October from tomorrow is breast cancer month. So that's it. Next year, God's willing, we will do more t-shirts. Once I get the request, I did 60 t-shirts and all is gone.
All
You
right.
know, a lot may not walk with us who purchased, but they just wanted to
Contribute.
contribute. So we would
Beautiful.
like people to come out, please, on Saturday morning, 9 o'clock. We assembling. We're gonna do an early walk in the park because I know people have stuff to do. So the earlier the better, and we get it over with it. My
Okay.
niece is also in remission. I think it's 9 years now. She's coming from Orlando. She's going to walk with us. I have another friend, Marlene. She's going to walk with us too. I have my friend June. She's coming to walk with us too. She's coming from Charlotte. So, guys, come out and give us that support, please. And once again, thank you to everyone, Delta Airlines, all my close friends that got t shirts. I just want to say thank you very much.
All right. Awesome. Can't wait to be there.
Yes, and I can't wait to see you too.
All
Okay, so let's
right.
get it. So,
Let's
word of
get
the
together.
week.
Word of the week is tyrant. A tyrant is a cruel and oppressive ruler. A tyrant is also a person who exercises power or control in a cruel, unreasonable, or arbitrary way, which will lead us into our topic of the day.
All right, good. So, guys, you guys know, our topic today will be on bullying. Am I saying that correct?
Yes, bullying.
Yes, because Anthony had to correct me today about my word.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyhow, so I have a quick health tip. And this health tip today, I was thinking about the elderly. So, healthy aging tip for the older adults in life, because every week we have something for the youths. So, today I wanted to bring something on where the older folks could get into. Good night, Jason. Good night, Betty. And thank you guys for logging in. Thank you, Angeline and others who are locked in right now. If you have older family members or loved one, you may worry about their health as they age. Aging increases the risk of chronic diseases such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, cancer, and dementia. The good news is that adopting and maintaining a few key behaviors can help older adults live longer, healthier lives as a family member. It's important to encourage healthy lifestyle behavior in your loved ones. It's never too late to start. Healthy behavior changes can help older adults live more independently later in life. This is important both for their quality of life and for yours. If a family member loses independence, whether it's due to disability or chronic diseases, you may find yourself in a caregiving role earlier than expected, which can affect family dynamic and well as finances. So what can you do to help the older adults in your life manage their health, live as independently as possible, and maintain a quality of life as they age? Read on or learn about 5 ways to help support and promote healthy habits in your older loved one's life. Prevent social isolation and loneliness. As people age, they often find themselves spending more time alone. That's true, Philia. Poor health, the death of a partner, caring for a loved one, and other situations that are more likely as people age can all lead to being social and isolated or feeling lonely. Although this sounds similar, social isolation and loneliness are different. Loneliness is a distressing feeling of being alone or separated, while social isolation is a lack of social contacts and have few people to interact with regularly. Increased social isolation and loneliness are associated with higher risk of health problems such as depression, heart disease, and congestive decline, which is disease in the ability to think, learn, and remember. As a family member, you can play an important role in helping the older adults in your life to stay socially connected. Here are some of the ways you can. Schedule daily or bi-weekly phone calls or video chat. Encourage them to seek out others with shared interests such as a garden club, volunteer organization, or walking group. Search the Electra Locator is a nationwide service that connects older adults and their caregivers with trustworthy local support resources. Promote physical activity. Encourage healthy eating. Schedule regular checkups with the doctor. So these are just a few tips for dealing with your older parent, because I know sometimes when you're younger, you tend to get agitated when your mom or your dad asks you something twice or three times. Philia, you have your mom there, so I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But again, once a man, twice a child. So we have to always remember to be patient with the elderly, and what you would like for yourself, you always do it unto others. You have anything to add?
Yes, I would say that definitely the patience is key. I think, like you said, once a man, twice a child, because you look up to them. They raised you, and then their health starts to decline, and you have to start doing the same, for them. So I think it's just very important to remember that it's the natural course of life. That at one time they were your heroes, and don't frown upon them. Try to be more patient and just try to understand that that's just the decline of human beings when we get older, and that's why it's important to stay active, continue reading, educating yourself, being healthy, exercising, eating better, because honestly at the end of the day, we are what we eat. What we put in is what we will put out, in a sense. So I always think about my mom used to be so vibrant and would walk everywhere and change around the whole house like once a month. It always feel like we live in a new house. And now she could barely walk, and you would think
Mhm.
that someone like that will always be vibrant, but I could see the decline, I could see the age, I could see the aging. So it's like so interesting to watch it happen, and it happens gradually, but then at some point it starts to seem like it's rapid, because you start looking at pictures and you can start seeing the sagging, and so I just find that really, really interesting. So for me, this is the time that I'm just trying to appreciate more time, with whatever time God has on this earth for her. But just knowing that nothing is guaranteed, tomorrow's not promised, like we say that all the time, and take pride in what you have and have an attitude of gratitude. I think that's very important.
I think that's important too.
Yes.
Because myself, I have a 89-year-old mother too, who is not as mobile as we would like her to be, but she's still coherent. She doesn't have dementia or anything like that. She just forgets certain things sometimes, but she knows her children, and she's still alive in the land of the living. Hoping and thanking God that I pray that she lives to see her 90th birthday in a couple months, because that's all we could do as adults now, to know that we still have our parents around and we still have to cherish them, mom and dad. With that said, what voter health tip you have for us tonight?
Voter health tip, it's always the same every week, but I think even more now, just getting really more in tune with what's happening around the world. Always inform yourself of what's happening. Be on top of the news. You don't have to necessarily. You can put it on your phone. We know we have accessibility. If you're not a person who watches TV, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I get my news headlines, my news feeds. You know, try to. I think sometimes if you want to change the algorithms on your TikToks and your Instagrams, sometimes it's just a matter of liking certain things and certain posts, and you'll start changing the algorithms of the things that starts to come to you. So I think that's really important. Just definitely just make yourself aware of what's happening. Don't be so lost in the dark, and definitely don't take on the opinions of others. Try to you can always, it's okay to listen, but definitely formulate your own before you go out and vote.
I think so. I think that is a great tip for those out there. Please go out. We have a couple of more weeks, and we would like you guys to really go out there and cast your ballots. With that said, I want to talk a little bit today about what to know about bullying. And I just want to play a clip of something I saw last night that I decided to raise the awareness of bullying. This is a funeral held in Sydney of a 12-year-old girl who took her own life because of the peer pressures that she faced. This is a little clip here. Hundreds donned in pink and bows gathered for the funeral of 12-year-old schoolgirl Charlotte O'Brien weeks after she took her own life. She loved to be loved, and we'd love to love her back. Charlotte, I miss you today, and I'll miss you every tomorrow. Kids Helpline says 16% of calls made to them last year related to suicide concerns, and there's been an increase in calls by those who may be at risk of immediate harm. Those figures have gone up from about 37% of all of those type of contacts a couple of years ago to about 44% of those contacts last year. Charlotte's family has told media she'd experienced bullying at her school. Kids Helpline is reminding families to ensure they're having an open dialogue about bullying. Bullying thrives in an environment of silence. Once we start to break that environment of silence and we start to get it out in the open, we start to report these things, then we find that we begin to have a positive impact and we can start to address the issue. The 24/7 online and phone counselling service says the community should work to equip young people to look out for each other and themselves. We all have to take a responsibility here. We need to be that village that supports our children and young people, but also puts our arms around each other when things like this occur. A poignant message in the midst of unimaginable grief. Chantel Alcouri, ABC News, Sydney. Okay, so I saw this last night and it shook me up because every day we know about bullies. We know we talk about them, and we tend to, sometimes we put a blind eye to it. And it's not only kids that are being bullied, adults too are being bullied. And just today, one of my coworkers, she said to me, she had her daughter in private school, but the private school was like 22,000 a year. So she took her out and put her in public school. And one of the kids told her she's a black bean, 5 years old. And I mean, you getting bullied at this age. So I mean, this is the society now that we're living in. But again, parents have to be alert and address these matters once they arise, I think, right? So bullying is aggressive behavior towards another person. It is repetitive and internationally hurts people physically, mentally, or emotionally. Bullying can include name calling, internationally excluding someone, physical hurting someone, or cyberbullying. This article examines what bullying can involve, why people may be bullying, what the steps you could take. According to the American Psychological Association, bullying is aggressive behavior that is intentional and repetitive. It involves an imbalance of power, such as using physical strength, popularity, or certain information to control others or cause them discomfort or harm. Bullying can include the following behaviors: physical violence, verbal abuse, threats, spreading rumors, purposefully excluding someone. It can happen anywhere, for example, online, at school, or the workplace, at home. How common is bullying? According to the data in 2019, around 22% of school students ages 12 to 18 years experience bullying throughout the school year, and around 16% of those grades 9 to 12 experience cyberbullying in the last year. Data from 2021 state that 15% of the school students in grade 9 to 12 experienced bullying at school within the previous year. Types of bullying: verbal bullying, physical bullying, social bullying, cyberbullying. What might a person bully others? A range of factors might cause people to bully others. Are you being bullied? If you are being bullied, it is essential to remember that you are not alone and it's not your fault. Help and support are available, including crisis resources. For more details, when and how to seek help for bullying, you can also find evidence, back evidence, and mental health hub. So, peer factors: people may bully others to get or maintain social power, try to elevate their status within their peer group, exclude others, or to fit in. Family factors are behave in ways that are controlling, overly strict, or reactive, provide low levels of guidance, structure, or involvement, having difficulty providing emotional support. So, those are some of the types of bullying that we can see and experience. So, Philia, in your school, have you seen the bullying, or how is what level it is to you?
Well, I teach high school, so there's going to be a high level of bullying in some form or fashion because for me, I taught in a high school for 16 years. Now I teach in college, but I think bullying definitely social media makes it tremendous because you can get to more people quickly, and it can be intense because they can go on several platforms. I think that back in the days, bullying will probably be a couple of people, maybe someone will tell their friends, get to a classroom, but now you can just inundate someone with bullying. They see it everywhere. Hundreds, thousands, people can be attacking you simultaneously from different platforms. So it becomes overwhelming, especially in a society where a l- this is the life of our children, of our kids. So,
So I know you have two small kids.
right.
Like when my friend told me that today, how
Hmm.
when the child called her daughter a
Right.
black, first I thought was a black bee, like a black,
Like a bean, right?
yeah.
Hmm.
So no, first I thought was the word bee,
Oh,
biatch,
I
right?
got you. I got you,
So
right.
I was like, what? And then she
Hmm.
said a black bean. So he trying to tell her she like the black beans, not black.
Got
You
you. Right.
understand? So
Right.
then I was like, I would have told to tell him, you're white
Mhm.
trash. But then,
Right.
I can't say those
It
things
right. It
because,
perpetuates the problem
yeah,
because
it's a 5-year-old
right.
child. But
Right.
how do you go about
Hmm.
giving a 5-year-old advice how to handle that? Because remember, for how much hours they in school? 8 hours.
Hmm.
Mommy's not
Hmm.
there, daddy's not there. So what
Hmm.
is your advice you think you can give that kid?
Okay, well, both of my kids actually have been bullied to some degree. I think it definitely helps when you are a parent that's very active and involved because, recently I had something with Nava where, interestingly enough, she was the perpetuator a little bit, but she was also bullied a lot in her old school. So I don't know if this was a weird defense mechanism where she spread a rumor, but because, I've always really taught them about integrity, she told me what she did when she got home and she said she felt really bad about it. And and so she got like recess room detention where she can't play outside for a week or something like that. But
Right,
my issue was the school didn't inform me. So I felt that she should have gotten suspended because one, she and I'm one of those parents, I'm not gonna take my kid first because I know
right,
kids lie. But I'm always gonna hear the situation and I can tell from the situation that I'm listening to
right,
what side it or who is the perpetrator, who's the victim. I can usually always tell. So when
right,
she told me, I knew she really felt bad of about what she did, but I also felt that her punishment was well deserved. But
right,
my problem was the school didn't inform me because here she could have been attacked or they could have now bullied her or maybe the kids could have shunned her because they felt that she was part of another problem. So I
right,
did go to the school. They did apologize for dropping the ball. I insisted that they have some type of mediation between the girls because sometimes if it's nipped in the butt from the school setting, it sometimes doesn't spill outside. What happens is that when it's not nipped in the school site where it tends to sometimes happen, it spills into bus
yes,
stop, into the bus itself,
right,
at home, on the phone, when they're playing Roblox, when they're playing, it's like it becomes like a really issue. So I wanted to nip it and say, look, I'm one of those parents. I'm very active. I will be up here in a heartbeat.
right,
Um, if my kid is the issue, you're going to know that I'm the kind of parent that I'm going to discipline her right there and then. I'm not going to
right,
say, hey, we'll talk about this at home because you are not going to be the cause of someone else's demise. I will not tolerate it. It doesn't matter if you're my kid or not. It's what's right and what's wrong.
right,
Now, so she does understand it, and I do constant reminders. I also tell her shut off your phone at a certain time because what happens, you got the kids who want to know what happened, Nava, what did
yeah,
you say, and
yeah,
then that perpetuates the problem. So I said, tell all the people, whoever contacts you, my mom said I cannot talk about it anymore, I've already apologized,
right,
I'll see you at school. Eventually you don't fuel any more fire. I think
right,
that is kind of a way to contain the situation a little bit. Now, my son was bullied in school, and because of that, he was just intimidated about everything. And my son is tall, so people assume that he's athletic, but he's not.
right,
He's like a wafer. He's tall, he's thin, he
yeah,
doesn't like sports. He's just really, really, really brilliant. And kids tease him about being so smart. And then he's
right,
tall, and then they're like, "Oh, you can't fight." So I got him enrolled in karate. That
right.
was kind of a way to
So,
make him get the self confidence that I think he's
yeah,
going to need, not to necessarily beat anybody up, but
right,
for him to feel that he can defend himself if he
right.
needs to.
Thing, right,
And what the kid did, he a girl was walking up the stairs and he grabbed my son's hand and touched the girl's butt with my son's hand. Now, instead of my son pulling the hand saying, "Hey, stop it," he was scared of the boy and then he admitted that he did it. And it's just like, and you know, Noah, he's nothing like that, you know. So, but he eventually said, "Hey, this is the kid who used to take my son's asthma pump and spray out until it finishes. And then
Wow.
my son will have an asthma attack and he's supposed to have 90 pumps and he doesn't, you know."
Right.
This kid like literally terrorized him.
Wow.
Thank God, you know, he didn't take his life because you wonder how a 5-year-old kid would even know what to do to take their lives. Like,
Right. Yes.
how do you know to put a rope around your neck? How do you know? Like,
Yes.
what? It's crazy. Like, and that's again, that's accessibility. These kids know how to Google how to kill themselves.
Yes. Yes.
That's crazy to me, you
Yes.
know. So definitely be involved with your kids. Like, know who their contacts are. Know, like, I'll always peep in when she's on the phone or they're on the phone too long. I'm like, okay, who's that? You know, I want to see who they're FaceTime. I just want to know because at any given time, you just don't know. You
No, you.
don't, and bullying, it takes place in different forms. It's not just the
Yes.
regular bullying,
Right.
like on the street and the girl is in your face or the guy's in
Husband
your
and
face.
wife bully each other sometimes.
Right, right.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
exactly, yes. So it's really important to be involved and always tell your child that they're loved. I mean, I know I'm not saying that these kids don't feel loved at home, but
Right.
the fact that whatever they're going through, they feel so alone that they can't even
Yes. But I
call to
wonder
their
what can
parents.
we do as parents to
Correct.
try
Right.
to fill
Right.
that void because with this
Correct.
12-year-old that
Right.
commits suicide,
Hmm.
her mother and father is was so devastated
Yeah.
that you see her there, the mother cuddling her, and you
Hmm.
think everything is okay, but behind
Right.
her back, everything wasn't okay. And I
Yeah.
mean, to take your life at 12 years
Yeah.
old,
That's like
sad. It
I can't
breaks
even
my heart.
imagine what's happening in their head that they actually are saying this is it. Actually, it happened in one of the schools I used to teach in. A young lady, she actually graduated with Bree, and she took her life as well. And this happened like maybe 3 weeks ago, right?
Really?
And same thing, same bullying. So I'm glad you're really going, talking about this because Bree graduated from that school, but she was still affected by the situation. Like we still had to get her counseling because she knew this girl. It was like she seemed fine, or people posting things and like
Yeah.
yeah, and then that's the last post, and then you find that they dead, and it's like
Yeah.
what happened between that post. And that's why social media is so fake, because people tend to show you the fake part. They always want to show you the best foot forward because
Yeah.
that's what they
Right.
think they need to do. But
Yeah.
I wish people were more honest about what they're really going through, because
Yeah.
then you can have more, the same way people could bully you, the same way people could also help you,
Yeah.
and don't always show the fancy this and the
Yeah.
nice
Or
cars
the
and the nice
all
vacations.
makeup face all the
Correct.
time,
No,
and you're
no.
well dressed all the time,
Correct.
and you
Correct.
don't have a dollar in your pocket or a pot
Correct.
to piss in. But
Correct.
that's another story.
Mhm.
Social media is very fake. I'm not
It's
lying to
very
tell
fake.
you. And I
Absolutely.
some people post good things,
Hmm.
and it have some people who abuse posting stuff that shouldn't even be on social media.
Right.
But I mean, I wonder sometimes, what gets into a child mind when you see them looking happy and
Right.
then they take their own life, and
Yeah.
they hang themselves. And I mean, it's just so heartbreaking. It's
It
something
is.
that they can't even live with after, because the thought of seeing your kid hanging, or
Oh,
knowing that they take pills and they die in the sleep. I mean, it is
very sad.
heart wrenching.
It's
So,
very, very
I mean,
sad.
for anybody out there who is
Right.
hearing us today and is
Right.
being bullied, speak to someone, reach out. There's somebody that you can talk to a friend, a parent. I
Right.
mean, we don't know, if you don't say something, we
Right.
can't help.
Right.
We could get
Mm.
therapy. You could talk to someone about what's
Mm.
going on. Maybe you could change the school that they're going to,
Yeah.
maybe the environment that they're living in. You could
Right.
move. I
Right.
mean, I don't know what again, Philia, because this is
Yeah.
very serious.
It is. And even talking about changing the environment, I remember I did change my son's school once it started happening, because I realized he was scared to go to school. He was scared to stay in school. He's scared to be. I'm like, what? And I'm looking and I see this little twerp, this kid I could just mash up with one stomp. I'm like, you scared of this kid that's half your size? But It doesn't matter. The person could be big, small, short, tall. It's an inferiority complex that a kid has. And that's why you have to build confidence in your children early on. You know, talk positive things to them. Let them know that they're strong. Let them know they're smart. Don't even focus, we tend to focus on our kids' looks. Oh, you're so pretty. You're so this. You're such a handsome. Yeah, that's nice. But, are you a good person? Are you strong? Are you smart? Are you intelligent? Are you kind? Also focus on those things, because if you just focus on those superficial outside things, the minute someone says something that crushes that kid, they don't have anything else to keep them sustained. And I think it's really important for us to build them and constantly remind them that they're loved and they're appreciated, and everything else, because as much as we think we might be doing enough, it may not be enough. And
Yeah,
we can't measure that based on our own things. It has to be measured by your kids
yeah.
situation, not on our own. You might think that I show my kid love all the time. What's wrong with them? But the kid might feel like, oh, mommy doesn't pay attention to me. Mommy's always busy. Mommy's always working. Mommy's the. We don't know. We don't know
Yeah.
why the kids do the things that they do. So it's really important to be in tune. Always speak to them. Know
Dar
who you're. Right.
yeah, Daryl is
Hmm.
saying this is very serious. And I want to bring on Carrie. Carrie, I'm gonna call you. I'm not gonna show your face. Now, Carrie is a school bus driver. So
Hmm.
she probably sees a lot of bullying. So let
Hmm.
us call Carrie and let
Okay.
us see if she could give us a few tips that she uses um to help kids, because
Okay.
seeing that she sees a lot on the bus. So I'll just bring her voice on.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Carrie. How you doing?
Hi, fellas. Also,
Good. You're live here on Motivational Monday, but I just wanted to get your tip on our topic today is about
I see it
bullying.
bullying. I
Yeah.
see it.
So I know as a bus driver with kids, you probably see a lot. Could you give us a few little tips on what you think we can do um, when we see these? Because I know on the school bus there is a lot of that going on.
Well, to me, fellas, each parent should know their child. You understand? I mean, I would make an example of my daughter. She was bullied at school, and it have some kids who would more or less stand up to the person or whatever. But when I came home and was like crying and saying, this person bullying me, and I'm like, what? So as a parent, you should know your child. I mean, somebody bullying somebody, it's not a nice thing. And as you say, I see it a lot on the bus, where it have little timid little kids. They would come on, and they would be, real polite and nice, and then it have this bully one that would just take over the whole bus.
Right.
But to me, as a parent, I would just, you bullying me, I bullying back. Phyllis.
Right.
That's it. I'm bullying back. And I tell my daughter that all the time. Do not let them, control you or whatever. You just, stand up for yourself. That's the best I could say as a parent, because you just sit back there and just let them control you, or call you names and these things. It's not nice. It's really not nice.
Have you
You
had
know.
to intervene as a bus driver if you see something on the bus? How is that? How does that
Of
work?
Of course, Phyllis, I see it, and I tell them, even as small as elementary kids in elementary, they look at kids who are like, really shy and quiet, and they will, bully them for what they have or whatever. And I would see it, and I'd be like, listen, this is not happening on the bus.
Right.
Sometimes I mightn't catch on to it, and then some kids will be brave enough to come and tell me.
Right.
It have the ones that will come out and say, but it have the ones that will sit down there and just let the child come, bully them, and they crying, and you're asking them what they're crying for, and they're not saying anything.
Right.
But as a driver, paying attention to the road and looking at the kids.
Right.
But some kids will come and tell you that, bus driver, this child been picking on me or hitting on me or whatever, and they would say something. But I straightened that out one time on the bus.
Okay.
I That's the tone of my voice alone.
Yes.
It gets straightened out. Or sometimes you meet the parent at the stop,
Right.
and you relate it to the parent.
Right.
I don't hide that.
Right.
As soon as I get to the stop, I say, listen, your child is doing this to this child and is not. Sometimes I have to write a referral.
Right.
Sometimes I have to write a report.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
So if you can teach your child to speak up when being bullied and not, let the person, get them scared or whatever.
Right.
So that's the best I could say.
Okay, thank you, Carrie. I know I
Thank
put
you, Carrie. I think that's great advice. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
great advice. I put you on the spot, but thank you very much. I wanted to hear from you first time because I know you deal with children and I know you on that school bus with them. So that was a great advice.
Yeah, thank you guys. Good
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye. Yes, so you heard
Yeah.
it there. I think that was
Yeah.
some great advice because
It was.
speaking to another friend of mine,
Mhm.
this little boy on a school bus too, was kicking the kids, and then he told his mother, hey, this person grabbed me or whatever the case may be, to put the aid in problems. You understand? And my girlfriend was telling me today too, her son was being bullied on the bus, and she told the bus driver, okay, which stop he's going to, and the bus driver told her to stop. So she said she get onto the bus with her son, with the bully. When he stopped, she come out and she spoke to his
The
parents
mother.
about it. But again, a lot of kids are being bullied, even grown-ups.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't know too how to deal with it, especially if
Right.
you don't speak up, if you don't say something.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because it's also parenting because sometimes the parents are bullies too, and the kids they see that and they mimic that behavior because
Yes.
you'll see kids do it and then you meet the parents and the parents are bullies and they like nobody's gonna tell my son and I'm gonna come back up to the school and take care of this and I know your car. It's like
Yeah.
like wait. How if I can't talk to you, how the hell can we talk to your child?
Yeah.
And I was a dean, so for me to see that type of behavior, I'm like, that's why the kid is the way they are. So it's not always just the kid. Sometimes it's the parenting too.
That's
We
what
are all
Carrie's saying.
responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, the parents are horrible. They're hard, and they always take up for their kids. They don't know the kids are bullies, or they might know, and they still say, "Well, you know what? How do you know your kid is not lying? My kid would never do that." And for me, I never say never because kids act different when they're outside.
Right.
They do things that you would never think of. So I think it's just really important to, like Kerry said, know your child. Know your child well. Like for me, if someone tells me something, I will let you know. I could see my child doing that, even if they never pull that at home. I could see tendencies, and so I wouldn't automatically believe that my child didn't do it or did do it. I want to hear the whole side. I want to hear the side of the other child.
Right.
I'll be able to assess from there. You use your instincts, your intuition. You're not going to be off, and your child as well. So I think that's really important, but definitely filling them up with all of the love, the support, letting them know that there's nothing too serious that they can't come to you for.
Right.
That's important as well, because if a kid feels afraid to tell you stuff or feels like you're going to yell or you're going to ignore them, then they're going to harbor a lot of this guilt,
Yeah.
and sometimes taking their lives might seem
Right.
like the best decision. So yeah, so I think that's important as well. And talking about it, I feel like I do a lot, and then it's like, damn, maybe I could do a little more. Like, you never should feel like you've done enough. You should always fight to make sure that your kids know that you can trust them, they can trust you, and you will always be there for them, no matter what, and now no matter how bad. Honestly, even if they're the bully, you
Yeah.
should even know that as well, so that you can help them. Because if they're hiding and you don't know, how can you help your own child?
Right.
So, yeah.
Carrie is saying, I know a teacher that was getting bullied. Yeah, teachers get bullied too. Nobody is singled out where bullying is concerned, I think. But
Mm-hmm.
growing up, my dad, God rest his soul, he
Mm-hmm.
used to tell us, if anybody do you anything, take up
Mm-hmm.
a stone, bust the head, and run
And
home,
come.
and he will deal with them.
You see?
So he, from
Mm-hmm.
young, instilling us that you have to
Mm-hmm.
stand up for your rights
Right.
and not let anybody take
Take
advantage of
advantage. Right.
you. So I learned that from young.
Mm-hmm.
So in my life, I never get bullied
Right.
because it ain't happening. You
Let
know what
me,
I'm saying?
yeah,
Because just the
it,
way how we grow,
right.
we grow where you need to stand up, you need to speak up, you need to
Hmm.
defend yourself. You know?
I, I I remember a story, the same thing when I told my mom some girls were bullying me. I think I was in fifth grade, and I think they even came to my door. Like, I think people had guts back then. They came to my door to knock on my door. I was like, so my mother was like, first thing she started doing was, we are Africans. We don't even have to touch you, and then you're gonna know what's gonna happen to you. I'm like, Mom, you're making it worse because now you just gotta perpetuate the problem because they're already teasing me that I'm African, and now you're telling them that things are gonna happen to you and you don't have to touch them. That's great. Please don't say those kind of things. But she would tell me, she said, you know what? Fight her. If you don't beat her, I'm gonna beat you. She would do that too. So I'm here like, what? Like, she said, beat her. So, because if you lose, I'm gonna beat you. So but it got me over my fear because it's like I used to be so threatened by these girls and they were
But
just
you,
mad.
so you was a fighter too,
I
Philly?
wasn't. I just felt like I needed to because my mom, they would come to the house and my mom first would be threatening them. But then after a while, she's like, okay, go ahead, fight. She said, I'm not going to make sure nobody touch my daughter. Fight. Let me see you fight. Let me see all this mouth, what it's all about. I always had a big mouth. And it's crazy. But that was like my first fight. I think it was fifth grade. That was my first fight. But I think it, in some weird way, it gave me a confidence, one, that my mother will be there, back
Right.
me, but two, that I could fight, even though I never had a fight before, that I could actually bust this girl's. So I got this reputation like, oh, don't mess with her. She could fight. Plus, she African. Plus, her mother's gonna is gonna be up in here. So it worked in my favor. I'm not saying that's necessarily the best thing to do, but for me, it worked in my favor, But
Right.
I think for me, I like fighting is just never the greatest thing, especially because people don't fight fairly. Like if people
Right.
fought like before where they just use their fist and it would be fine, but people with weapons. Somebody's going
Yeah.
home getting their mother or father's gun, or
Yes.
a friend. It's just a terrible, terrible, terrible situation. So, as I said, the conflict, being mediation, some type of resolution, going into the school to try to figure it out,
Right.
doing it from home. I would say triangulate what the problem is, whether it's the source, whether
Right.
it's at home, whether it's at school. So there's a great support system everywhere. And you have to get the parents involved because if you have a parent who condones the nonsense, it's
Yes.
hard. It's so
Yeah.
hard.
It's true
But
because you
yeah.
really do have some of those gangster parents.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then how can you really go to relate to them because they come
Yeah.
out to curse you out
Yeah.
because their child is the best child. You know?
Correct. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I don't know how to really give someone advice,
Right.
especially if you have a parent who is like that,
Belligerent, right? That's 100% true. So I think it's like you said, it takes a village, definitely knowing your child, as I said, letting your child sometimes, even like, like I, even though Nava goes to the bus by herself, but sometimes I walk with her so they could get to see that she got a mom.
Right.
Her mom is not gonna see her. She's not no bully. I'm like, hey guys, how are you? I'm Nava's mom, and hi Nava's mom, you so cute. Oh, I like it here, I like it this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Nava's a little popular. Oh, Nava, your mom is pretty cool. She's so
Yeah.
young, and or you might have somebody who says, Nava, your mom is ugly. Whatever.
Right.
It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, they see
The
that there's someone
presence.
who's
They see the
involved.
presence, so they
Correct. They see
know
the presence.
she not walking
Exactly.
alone, and then
Exactly.
she's
Which
timid
is
to
exactly, and I think that's
continue with the bullying if they
correct.
have to. But
Right.
Nava good for herself, so
She's
I ain't
good.
even have
She's
to
good.
say about Nava, you know.
Right. Right.
But
Right. But
as Carrie said,
mm-hmm.
you have to talk to your kid, and
Mm-hmm.
you really have to really instill in them to speak up,
Right.
and and for those kids that we lost,
So sad,
due
and
to
God bless them.
suicide because they thought that nobody's gonna listen or
Yeah.
nobody was there to hear them.
Yeah.
I think it's just unfortunate. So
Mm-hmm.
Anthony is saying the parents need to report to the school so they have all the information just in case. So
Correct.
if your child is being bullied,
Mm-hmm.
speak up. Speak up. Listen to your child. When they come
Yeah.
home, they always tell you, how was the day? They'll say, Ma, this Sam did me this, Jane
Mm-hmm.
did me this.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't play a blind eye if you're hearing
Right.
it day in and day out. and especially again,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, again, as my friend, when she was telling me about her 5-year-old, when the little boy tell her that you know,
Right.
she's a black bean,
Right.
I was
Mm.
like, and you're a white trash, that,
Right. I,
because
it,
it's just horrible to
right.
know your 5-year-old child who don't even know
Who
about
don't even
bullying
know?
have to
Right.
experience this now,
It,
in the
it's
public
it
school.
it's funny because you said that, because when that happened to Noah, and they think someone called Noah a freak. So Noah came and he told, me, my mom, and my aunt was there. And he said, "What did he call you?" He said, "He called me a freak. Go tell him his mother." And
Yeah.
then Noah said, "What does his mom have to do with it?" Like, he's such a good kid. I'm like, boy, you are not from me. Because
Yeah.
I would have found a way to
Yeah.
say, go tell
So
him his
so I
mother.
make my girlfriend laugh. I say, we really can't tell Nava that because she's only 5. But I mean, that is
Right,
something that I would have said,
right,
Eh,
right.
you know.
Right. So, and like, I remember one time there was some girl that was bothering Nava. I was like, girl, that girl looked like a roach. Nava going to tell her. My mother said you look like a roach. Great. Nah. I'm like, Nava, that wasn't what you supposed to do. I was like, how you throwing me under the bus?
Yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, but you told me not to lie. So I was just honest and told her, my mom told me you look like a roach. That's what she told me. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I look like some petty chick now,
Yeah,
some petty kid
yeah,
over here getting involved with kids' business. You know what I'm
yeah,
trying to say?
yeah,
Because we get offended when someone's messing with our children.
yeah.
Sometimes you forget you're an adult.
Exactly.
So
Like I
I'm like,
forget I
never.
was an adult this morning when I tell my
Right.
friend.
Go.
I was like, what Nora should have done is said, and you're white trash if
Exactly.
I'm a black
Exactly.
bee. So
So
then
I completely understand it, but
yeah.
we got to just kind of take, I think it's the best resolve, like Anthony mentioned, is get involved with the schools,
Anthony said
let them
when
know.
they go low, we
You
go
go,
high.
I'm like, we go lower. Oh
Yeah,
man, too
but
funny,
I mean,
too funny.
5-year-old kids, it's hard to really navigate and let them know. But you have
Mm-hmm.
to really put, like me, I would say, put them like in a defensive class where they could
Okay.
go
Yeah.
like jitsu or something
Yes.
where they could defend themselves and
Yes.
not be timid and let people walk all over you.
I
And
agree.
sometimes too, children, when I look at them, I used to always tell my son, be a leader and not a
A
follower.
follower, right?
Leaders rules the world,
Mm-hmm.
followers get left behind.
Behind. I love
Which
that.
one you want to be? A
I love
leader
it.
or a follower? So I used to instill that in him day in, day out. So he
Mm-hmm.
ain't no follower. He's a one-man army.
You see?
You
You see?
understand what I'm saying?
I
Because
agree.
yeah, because some kids too, when you look at them, if your
Mm-hmm.
friend tell they jump, okay, you're asking them how high.
Right.
You are a follower. That means
Right.
you're going to follow and do things and do the wrong things and get into problem. And when you get into problem, they're leaving
Mm-hmm.
you right there and run
Right.
away. So
Right.
you have to be a leader and say, you know what? I'm not going to get myself into this problem.
Yeah.
I want to do better. This is not right. You must teach your children right from wrong.
Right.
So
Right.
when they see the signs of being bullied, they will know,
Mm-hmm.
hey, that's not nice. Even telling them, that's not nice what you did. Some children beat up other kids, take away the lunch, take
Right.
away the money,
Right.
and have these kids
Mm-hmm.
scared. They don't want to go to school. Sometimes when the kids say, "Ma, I don't want, I don't feel to go to school today," look into it. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that, because every little child I know like to go to school.
Right.
So
Right.
from the time they don't want to go to school and they don't want to go to work or
That's a
something
problem.
like that, there's a
Right.
problem going on. So
Right.
parents have to pay more attention. Stop
Right.
being the mother who always working, 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 and not
Right.
paying attention to your kids.
That's true. That's
Because I
true.
mean, we all trying to go out there and make a daily bread, but your
Right.
children suffering in one way because you're not giving them that love and attention and asking them questions. Just a simple hi. How was your day today? Everybody
That makes
likes
a
a question
difference.
like that.
Yeah, it makes a difference. You're right. It makes a 100% difference. So I think that, as I said, I think this is a really great topic. It affects, don't think that you're in a bubble. It affects all of us. It affects our children, it affects our neighbors. We're like a village, we got to look after each other's children. If you see something, say something. You know, even like I'm always nosy. Like if I see a kid just walking too close to the street and their parents, I'm like, hey, excuse me, your son, you know, and
Yeah.
God is like, why you always minding people? And I'm just like, just as the motherly instinct, like I don't want to see someone's child get hurt, you know?
Right.
Or there are times I've seen like teenagers, like a guy getting into a girl's face, and I'll come out the car and I'm like, excuse me, she said leave her alone. Would you
Right.
like me to call the cops now? It's risky, of
Yeah.
course, you
Yeah.
know, because it's like mind your business, bitch. You know, like if
Yeah.
somebody could do that and get in my
Right.
face, but thank God it hasn't happened. And maybe there's a part of me that looks like an authoritarian. So sometimes they'll be like, all right, you lucky this woman is here, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah.
I'm a catch you later. Or I will come and ask the young lady, are you okay? Do you
Right.
need me to call someone? I may not necessarily talk to the guy because that sometimes can be confrontational. But I'll
Right.
ask the young lady, are you okay? Do you need me to call someone for you? Do you need me to
Right.
call your parents? You want me to call the authorities? And then the guy, so I'm not confronting him. If he says something, I'm like, I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to the young lady, sir. Please, can you back up?
Right.
I'll I'll just and the lady would be like, please, miss, or you know, whatever. And
Right.
it'll be like, please leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered. That's happened several times actually. So I just don't like people. I don't like people feeling like they have to be oppressed or people being bullied or people being victims because I know what it feels like to be a victim. And
Right.
so if I see it, I'm going to always be involved. And it's a risk you take, but you know what? You can't be a bystander in life. You
Yeah.
gotta stand up for something, you know, and that's
Right.
just my belief. So yeah.
So I just want to say suicide prevention. If
Mm-hmm.
you know someone at immediate risk or self-harm, suicide, or hurting another person,
Mm-hmm.
ask the tough question. Are you considering suicide?
Mm.
Listen to the person without judgment. Call 911 or your local emergency number to communicate with a trained crisis counselor.
Mm-hmm.
Stay with the person until professional help arrives. So, I mean, I'm glad what you said just now there.
Right.
Try to remove any weapon, medication, or any other potentially harmful object if it's safe to do so.
Right.
Bullying can increase the risk of mental health issues, including anxiety and depression. It can also increase the risk of sleep issue, reduce academic or work performance, and dropping out of school. People who bully others have an increased risk of substance misuses, academic problems,
Mm-hmm.
experiencing violence in later life, behavioral and mental health issues. People who witness bullying are also an increased risk of substance use, mental health issues, and missing school, as they say, right?
Yes.
So if you know anybody out there, guys,
Mm-hmm.
especially the younger ones, please talk to them, because bullying really, really occurs during school hours, after
Yeah.
school, while most reported bullying happen in school
Mm-hmm.
buildings. A significant percentage also happen in place like the playground or the bus. It can
Yeah.
also happen traveling to and from school, in your youth's neighborhood, and on
Mm-hmm.
the internet, right?
Yes. Very, very
Um,
important.
Out of every five, 20.2 students report being bullied.
Mm.
A high percentage of male than of female students report being bullied, 6% versus 4%, whereas high percentage of female than the male student reporting being bullied. Of
Wow.
those students who report being bullied,
Mm-hmm.
13% were made fun of, called names, or insulted. 13% were the subject of rumors. 5% were pushed, shoved, tripped, or spit on. And
Mm.
5% was excluded from activities on purposes. A slightly higher portion of female than male students report being bullied at school, 24% versus 17. Bullied students report that bullying occurred in the following places: the hallways, stairways at school, inside the classroom, in cafeteria, outside the school ground, online by text, in the bathroom or locker room, and on the school bus.
Wow.
46% bullied student report notifying an adult at school about the incident. The
Mm.
reason for bullying reported most often by students include physical appearance, race, ethnicity, gender, disability, religion, sexual orientation. The federal government began collecting data on school bullying in 2005 when the prevalence of bullying was around 28%. 1 in 5 teens, 9 to 12 years, has been cyberbullied other and seen cyberbullying. 49.8 tweens years between 9 and 12 said they experienced bullying at school. So again, it is happening on the internet, in
Mhm.
school. We have to continue talking to our children about bullying. Again, adults are also being bullied. No one is excluded.
Wow.
All right?
That's great.
Yes.
Oh, this was a really important topic. I really hope that it resonated with all of our viewers and listeners. I think that, don't feel that because your kids are older or, like I think Carrie said, teachers, even teachers. I think I
Even
even got
teachers are
bullied.
being bullied. Yeah.
Right. I had a situation in my first year teaching where this kid, I was teaching a special ed class, and this kid used to always be on my desk. And I was like, you got to get off my desk. I don't want kids to think it's okay. And he's like, oh, well, miss, I'm just comfortable. And I was like, you guys. So one day I just like got upset and I picked literally I just couldn't take it anymore. And this kid fell in the corner and bruised his face. And I was just like, it was all like this weird Hulk strength I had. And I didn't mean to, but it happened. And the principal came into the room and was like, what happened? And the kid looked at me and just said nothing. I was just goofing around. And then the principal asked me, is everything okay, Miss Neckman? And I was like, yeah, everything is good. And the kid like tried to blackmail me because he didn't tell on me. So every day he would be like, Miss, can I have $10 for lunch? And
Oh
I'm like,
my.
what? And just like imagine my first year teacher, like don't know the system. He's like, can I have $10? I was like, I don't have it. And he'll be like, I don't. So I would give this kid money. I swear I did this thing for like a month. And this other teacher, I happened to be in and they put me in the conflict and mediation center, and that's how I end up becoming a dean after 2 years. And she was like, why does that kid come here every day? And I told her, I said, yeah, he was on my desk, and one day I got mad and told him to get off, and I pretty much picked him and pushed him off. He fell in the corner and he hurt himself and he didn't tell on me. She said, next time he comes, tell him you don't have it. I'm like, but what if she said, who they gonna believe, the bad kid or the new teacher?
Right.
And I was so scared. So he came again, lunchtime. Hey, Miss A, can I have $10? And I'm like, I don't have it. And he was like, oh, this is after like 2 months. He's rubbing the same face. And then I was so nervous. And she was like, did you hear Miss A? Miss A said she doesn't have it. Now go to class. And then he said, all right, miss, all right. But he never did anything. So it was like, had that teacher not intervened, God knows I would have been
You'll be
bankrupt by
still
now
playing.
because,
You'll be
yeah,
still
because
playing.
that kid's still 5 years later doing this nonsense with the face. And I would have been scared because I thought he was going to tell someone that I pushed him, even though he was the one at fault. But the fact that I have to be accountable for my own actions.
Right.
And as a teacher, I can only defend myself. I shouldn't have picked up the kid
Yeah,
from my
that's why
desk,
Carrie said teachers are being bullied too.
Yeah.
And
So
you
I was
see it in
bullied.
school. You see
Mhm.
it in these videos that they're putting up.
Right.
Even parents come up to the school for the teacher if
They
you
do.
correct your kid.
They
So,
do.
yeah,
They do. And
so guys,
this was in 20 years ago,
yeah,
2004 this happened to me. So just imagine, as old as I am, I was still like somewhat bullied by this kid. Like
yeah,
I didn't know my rights, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
but yeah, but that's the story, man. So we just got to look out for each other
Yeah,
and
and I hope
just be
that
diligent
guys share the live.
for sure.
If you know anyone out there who's being affected by bullying, again, speak
Mhm.
up, speak to them. As Anthony say, when they go low, we go high.
Lower. Yeah,
And
you're right,
to
Anthony.
my friend, I hope that she talks to her, and I hope
Mhm.
things be better. for her because the bullying is not easy. Not everybody can handle stress.
Right.
All
Right.
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 So
Absolutely.
once again, guys, Pretty in Pink, come out. We
Yay.
walk in on Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Baisley Boulevard in Queens. All our t-shirts have sold out, so wear pink and walk with $10. Light breakfast. We have our music. We have lots of fun. So see you
Mm-hmm.
guys there Saturday, God's willing. Love in the
Mm-hmm.
house always. Thank you once again for all our loyal listeners on a Monday. We know you guys have a lot of things that you could be doing, but you take the time to listen to myself and Philia. And we
Yes.
want to say thank you so much. Coming up, I always do the women's shelter, Christmas Day. If you want to do donation, buy up your toiletries. You can get your start to buy up litter if it's $5-10 worth in the Dollar Tree store.
Mm-hmm.
Toiletries, nothing with sharp objects because the shelters doesn't accept sharp objects, but any woman shelter we don't really do the men. But last year we did 100 and how much, Philia?
I think it was 126 or so.
26
Yeah.
care
Mm-hmm.
packages
Right.
for the women. So
Right.
guys, that will be coming up in December. That's our last project after this one here, Pretty in Pink.
Yes.
So we have lots of projects, I guess, right?
A lot of projects, sis. We gotta get it going. Always, it
Yes,
takes a village. We all
it
part of
takes a
that
village.
village.
Yeah, and I want to
Awesome.
say thank you again, guys. Pretty in Pink. This is our
Mm-hmm.
first one.
Yeah.
Supporting breast cancer awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Love in the house always.
Loving the
Stay good,
house.
stay true, and just love in the house.
Loving the house. Love each other. Bye,
Peace
guys.
out. Have a great week, guys.
Bye, sis.
Blessed week, Philly.
See you soon, boo boo.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.